This is the AM News. Let's start with details now. It's all joy for students and teachers of Bedumase DA Junior High School in the Ashanti region, who now have a fully renovated classroom block following a Joy News report which highlighted the deplorable conditions they were studying in. Students and teachers who until recently have been competing with reptiles in deplorable structures to learn now enjoy classes in a more conducive environment. It follows the rehabilitation of a 70-year-old dilapidated classroom block after Joy News exposed the plight of the students and teachers 3 years ago. My colleague Ohiming Tewia, who first told their story, has more in this report.
Students of Bedumase DAJHS bask in joy and ecstasy as they entertain themselves and guests with choreography performance. They are happy because they'll be studying in more friendly classrooms for the first time in several years. Visibly cracked walls and floors, ripped off roofs greeted the visitor to the school. Not only were the classrooms without windows, but they also gave free access to intruders, including weed smokers. Snakes and reptiles easily found comfort in classrooms, exposing lives to danger. No wonder the student population kept dipping, currently at 52 for the entire school. It was fanfare as District Director of Education, George Edu Abrokwa, advised parents to desist from leading attacks on teachers.
I am begging you to live in harmony with the teachers. By doing so, we will together help raise these kids. Live in peace with all teachers. Please don't take the law into your hands and attack the teachers. Report all erring teachers to my office for redress. Don't assault teachers because when you do, you disgrace the community.
Elated teachers who commended Joy News for the support are convinced the new facility will improve teaching and learning outcomes in the school. Castro Osekankam is the headmaster.
It was worse as we can describe it. But we thank Joy News for coming into the picture to help. When Joy News captured, the whole thing went, say, international. Let me put it that way. And then all students from this town who are overseas came to the rescue of the school. So that is the impact that Joy News has brought to Bedumase DAJHS.
Meanwhile, school authorities have launched a fundraising campaign to resource the school with an ICT lab.
In this modern world, education has gone far, and we need computers to help our students to learn very well. In order to compete with those in the Ashanti region, the Kumasi metropolis, Greater Accra and other places, since all the students write computing during BEC. So we want the masses to come and help us so that we establish an ICT center where we can teach the students how to use the computer.
From Bedumase in the Ashanti region for Joy News, Ohiming Tewia reporting.
President Akufo-Addo has assured the people of Jirapa municipality of the commitment of the government to ensuring that justice prevails in the trial of persons accused of killing the owner of Royal Cosy Hills Hotel, that is Jirapa, Dubai, Eric Johnson. Now, Eric Johnson was gruesomely murdered on February 11 this year at his private residence at Jirapa. Speaking at his funeral service at Jirapa, Minister of State of the Office of the President, Ambrose Derry, speaking on behalf of President Akufo-Addo, said that they will ensure that justice is brought to the perpetrators of the crime. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam was at Jirapa and now reports.
Jirapa has said goodbye to arguably its most famous business tycoon and philanthropy extraordinaire in a historic day marked by moments of emotion and grief. Tens of thousands of people traveled to the Jirapa Yelpe Park for the poignant Requiem funeral service. Eric Johnson was later privately buried at the compound of his private residence, where he was gruesomely murdered almost 4 months ago. It followed an emotional day for grieving members of his nuclear family and by extension the Jirapa royal family, where his mother hailed from, and kinsmen from the Walimairi clan. Also among the mourners were Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Alban Somana Kinsport Bagwin, who knew Eric Johnson for over 3 decades, Minister of State at the Office of the President, Ambrose Derry, who represented the President of the Republic, and Supreme Court Judge Justice Emmanuel Yonikulendi, and they all sat on the front pew. The event was officiated by 9 priests and led by the Ward Assistant Administrator, the Very Reverend Father Cornelius Nabayirunoba.
Him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb.
There was space for several tributes. Her daughter gave a touching eulogy mixed with beers of tears centered on the love Eric Johnson had for them.
Eric's profound affection for his daughters knew no bounds. He cherished them dearly and proudly extolled their virtues whenever the occasion arose. His pride and love for them were palpable in every interaction. Before his passing, Eric was graciously bestowed with the joy of meeting his beloved grandchildren, a testament to the abundant blessings bestowed upon his family by the grace of God.
Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kinsport Babin, pointed out that there are a lot of lessons to be learned from the death of Eric Johnson beyond mourning him.
Eric was more than good. The wicked reigns, but for only a short while. The devil thought he was prevailing against Jesus. So they thought they were killing Eric Johnson. Unknown to both, what they rather do is to give everlasting life.
Minister of State at the Office of the President, Ambrose Derry, assured the mourners of ensuring that justice prevails.
His death was bizarre to all of us, but the Ghana Police Service worked very hard and got to the bottom of the matter, arrested a suspect, and the suspect is now before court. All I can say is that while I share the sentiments, the spiritual angle of forgiveness, but Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's. In Caesar's world, we believe that justice would be done in the case of the Republic versus the suspect that we've got.
Paramount Chief of Jirapa, now Justice Dina Donlobong Ghana III, tribute was read on his behalf.
In the quietude of my heart, I mourn the loss of a visionary, a stalwart in business, and a beacon of hope, especially for the youth who looked up to him for guidance and encouragement, my esteemed elder brother, Eric Johnson. He was a true titan in the realm of philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and tourism promotion.
An electric generator that lies several blocks in the Jirapa municipality and beyond now has his life snapped out, truncating the dreams and aspirations of millions of people in the municipality. For the millions of people who thronged the Nile Park for the funeral of Eric Johnson, his 60 years life was well lived. Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam, Jirapa.
Away from that, in today's Filth exhibition series, Rejoice Semefa Kpesu takes us to the streets of Ashaman, where the lack of rubbish bins is forcing residents to discard waste in the middle of the roads. Here's the report.
The streets of Ashaman are currently engulfed in filth. Filth creating a public health hazard. This has become an eyesore for both residents and visitors. The stretch from the Ashaman underbridge to Aferiwa has been particularly affected, with piles of rubbish packed along the middle of the road. The lack of rubbish bins in the area has made the situation worse, forcing residents and passers-by to discard their waste on the streets. This has led to a buildup of trash that includes household waste, plastic bottles, and other pieces of scattered rubbish. Even though the situation is worrying, the residents say they are tired of complaining because their complaints will do very little. Madam Agnes is a resident.
We are worried about the rubbish issue. Some residents give their rubbish to these junkies and they in turn dispose of them behind people's homes and on the street. Whenever it rains, some people dispose of their refuse into the gutters. You can't even talk about it because you get attacked. We are pleading with government to help.
D-Trip, who is a resident and trades in menswear, expresses frustration over the persistent issue.
Myself, one time I noticed that we lack dustbins. I even complained to the municipal assembly some time ago that the reason why the dust are always on the streets, or let's say the rubbish are always on the streets, is the result of no dustbins. You understand? If you can look around from here to what do you call it? Presby Junction. There's no dustbin. From here to Ashasek, or let's say runabout, there are no dustbins. The junkies that they carrying the trash too. Whenever they carry the trash, they will take the money. They'll come to the streets to take the money, or come to your various places or your houses to take the money. And when they take the trash, they will not take it to the right place that they have to dump it. So when they get to the traffic here, they notice that here there is a no man's land. So they will just leave it and they will run away. You know, junkie, you cannot go and attack a junkie. You see, yes, all this is because of you don't have proper waste management.
Pounds has, however, attributed the situation to a shirking of responsibility from the leadership.
You know, this is our country, it's our motherland. So we are supposed to keep our country tidy. Understand? When you go to other countries, you will see the way like our country is. You know, you see the trash on the floor anyhow. You drink water and put it on ground. Why? It's because we don't have dustbins. And this is due to lack of leadership. They should make sure that like they will distribute dustbins to many places so that people can get the dustbin to put their trash. Because if there's no dustbin around, everybody can put rubber on the ground, do anything anyhow, anyway.
Residents are calling on authorities to at least provide rubbish bins to help curb the worrying trend. Rejoice Semefa Kpesu's report for Joy News.
An Accra High Court has given parties in the ongoing anti-LGBTQI+ case of Mr. Paul Boamasefa versus the Speaker of Parliament and another 4 weeks to file their written submissions to support their arguments before a determination is made on July 29th. Mr. Paul Boamasefa, a farmer in the Ashanti region, is praying the Supreme Court to stop the passage of the bill, a bill which has since been passed into an act waiting for presidential approval to make it law. Latif Idris was in court and has the rest of the story.
According to the plaintiff, the statutory requirement for the anti-LGBTQ+ bill to be accompanied by fiscal impact analysis has not been complied with. Under the provisions of the Act, Those who take part in LGBTQ+ sexual acts could face imprisonment between 6 months to 3 years. The bill also imposes a prison sentence of 3 to 5 years for the court willful promotion, sponsorship, or support of LGBTQ+ activities. In a very brief proceedings here at the High Court, the sitting judge, Justice Ellen Mreku, has given the parties involved in this matter, that is the anti-LGBTQ case before this court, up until July 4th for the plaintiff to file his written submission. The Attorney General and the Speaker of Parliament have up until July 29 to also file a response, by which date the court is expected to sit for a determination to be made on that matter. Today's proceedings is historic in the sense that for the first time in the history of this republic, TV cameras were allowed into a high court for the live coverage of proceedings. This is part of the Chief Justice's initiative as a way of reinventing the frontiers of the judicial system and also the newly created love affair between the judiciary and the media.
So you tell yours to, upon being served within 4 weeks, file it, meaning it's going to take us beyond July. But I want us to come before the end of July to ensure that at least the plaintiff has filed this. Then we can be guided. The next date will be for a determination by the court. So can we come back on the 29th of July?
That's fine. Are we to file by 29th or?
I said 4 weeks upon service. You have 4 weeks within which to file. If by 29th all of you have filed, I can give you a date for a determination. But at least by 29th they should have filed because they are supposed to file by the 4th of July. Hopefully you are just here. Late you are just here. So maybe if you file early, they can be served on the same day or the day after. So I'm hoping that by 29th all parties would have filed, and I can give you a date. If I am a vacation, just can come during the vacation for the court's judgment. But on the 20th. Court's right.
The sitting is expected to reconvene on the 29th of July 2024, by which date all parties involved, the plaintiff, the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General, are expected to have filed their written submissions, and then a proper determination will be made on that matter by the sitting judge. From the High Court complex, this is Latif Idris reporting.
Up next, business updates. As described as prudent, measures are outlined by Bank of Ghana to turn around the 10.5 billion cedis losses posted last year. The central bank has rolled out some key measures which it believes will help improve its financial position by the end of this year. Dr. Tuahine, however, maintains that the central bank needs to be strict on these policy measures.
You have an asset. They were holding a lot of government asset, serious. So when the DDE came, that it affected their liquidity position. Let us get it. If you were holding bonds, you could trade the bonds. If you were holding those treasury bills, you could do that. But unfortunately, in addition to the cocoa bills, all these things were basically reduced to, if you say, reduced to nothing. And because of that, they had to operate from a zero point of view. And by so doing, your interest cost or the interest expense had not gone down, but your interest income would have gone down. That leads into the losses. So that is actually a contributing factor of the losses in 2023. Well, because you've been called under the IMF program, there isn't much you can do about it. It's a jacket. They are not just saying it. It is something that was imposed on them. Because if you look at the budget financing, the fiscal budget financing, in 2020, we did 15% GDP. That was financed by the central bank. And when you, 2021, we did 12.3. 2022, we did, I think, 9.3 or thereabout. Then 2023, it was 7.7. All these things have to be financed. Now that the IMF is telling you that, do zero by finance, it means that you're not going to lend any money to government. And don't forget, by monetizing or financing government, it leads to inflation and depreciation of the currency. So it is one methodology that will help the currency, at least if they stick to what they've been told, at least it will be able to stand.
The Association of Ghana Industries has called for heavy investment in indigenous small and medium enterprises to enable them scale up and boost their export potential. The AGI made the call as part of recommendations to solve the continuous depreciation of the cedi. The president of the association, Dr. Humphrey Dake, in an interview with Joy Business, explained that the country would have to embark on a massive export drive to rake in the necessary foreign exchange to stabilize the cedi.
Every entrepreneur and every blue chip company technically must think of exporting something. Take your forex management into your own hands by exporting anything you find in Ghana. Create the market elsewhere. Deliberately create the market. Export anything, charcoal, wood, anything you can think. So that you create forex for yourself. And when the forex is misbehaving, you just take advantage of it. So we urging our business colleagues, take your destiny to your own hands, export something to balance your books. Create your own market and come help him do an injection by saying, look, I've given this order, produce, it's certified, then you export it, not him exporting. You see that's right? We're urging the big firms to do that because at this stage, everybody needs dollars. I've put in an application to transfer some funds to my suppliers. It's taking me over 3 weeks. I'm not getting dollars to transfer. So what do? When I have my own Forex account, I just pull in on my Forex. What government can do immediately is to drive the export agenda strongly, deliberate to come to AGI and other manufacturing associations to deliberate grow a few companies that can deliver the product, and let us all try and do some export. Let it be an agenda, and government has that agenda, but we must get into the field and get something out.
And that does it for the AM News on the AM show. Stay with us. Up next is a news review segment. We'll be joined by Dr. Wisdom Kofi Dogbe.